I got to tell you, Shawn, I used to be in construction, as you may have picked up from the show, and I love this idea. And the first thing that came to mind was caulking windows and caulking trim. I don't care how many wet rags you have over your shoulder, in your pocket, on top of your head. You're gonna get it somewhere you don't want it to be, and your instinct is to wipe it on your pants.
Yes.
Did you ever nail that on the head? That is an issue that, look, man, I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to say, hey, I want to ask you how you're doing today, Shawn. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. It's a privilege to be on the show. When I discovered the podcast, I binge listened there for about 2 days straight. I've got it on my YouTube account now that gives me an alert every time a new recording is on. So it's been great, and just a privilege to I guess thank y'all. Thank you. And I know Marcus has things has changed a little bit since your move, but everything is just it's just a privilege to be here and to personally thank you, I guess, other than just a text, for all the help.
Well, thanks, man. You know, that really goes a long way. You know, this is a project in faith, if you will, that we're going to eventually one day help people. And to hear that we actually are, man, that is just such a warming feeling. So thanks for telling me that. Anybody listening out there, take lessons from Shawn. If we're helping you, let me know, because it helps me keep pushing on and keep pushing forward. And
I can tell you this, everything that has been accomplished thus far, I owe it all to you guys.
Well,
there's, I could be where I'm at maybe today, but 2 to 3 years down the road with many mistakes, no doubt.
Yeah. And I agree,
Shawn.
Shawn.
To your caulking dilemma, I don't know if you can see the pants behind me.
I love it.
So I hung those up there. That is caulk on both pants with thin set on some. And I don't know if you can. I brought props.
Yeah. Show me. Oh gosh,
that's what all of my work pants look like.
100%.
That is caulk from Hardy board that you put up, and I tell you, when you rub that on your pants, it is not coming off.
Now, are you married or dating?
I am married. Been married for oh man, that's a tough question.
It's not a trick question.
20. Let's see. We got married in '96.
Oh wow, good for you.
We're getting close to 30 years.
You are.
I have 2 kids, 2 grandkids.
So what does the wife think of all those dirty pants? Do they have a special cycle? Is there a special process for washing those and stashing those away?
I just get the look. Like, I'll get a new pair of pants, and she'll like, don't get these dirty. Yeah. I say, okay, sure. So I'll come in that day, and she's like, oh my gosh, Shawn. and I was like, well, I don't have any alternative. And that's how the whole idea was born.
So let's get into it then. Tell me about Swipe and Wipe, how it was born, when you decided to take action, all the above. I want to hear it all.
Okay. So last year, this idea, I guess, was born about 1.5 years ago. I was laying tile. I had some, just like you said, I had some paper towels, and I had some lint-free towels. And anyway, I had them wet. And as I was laying the tile, of course, I'm terribly messy anyway, so I had thin set all over my hands. Well, I would wipe it on the towel. Well, after about 2 wipes, every time then that you tried to wipe your hands on the towel again, it would end up transferring more to your hands.
Sure.
So that's why it ended up it was easier just to wipe my hands and my fingers on my pants. And the towel was never where I needed it. I would be over here and the towel be over there. So it was just time, a poor time management, having to go get a towel when you could just wipe your hands on your pants. So I'm sitting there and countless times I have to run to town to get something, for the job. And I'm thinking, man, I look like a homeless person, going to town and just mess all over me, and I don't know if homeless person's the right word to use there, but I just look terrible,
Yeah.
Trying to go to town. So I thought there's got to be something that I could do, or there's got to be something out there that. So I started on my search then on just started out with Google search and looking online, to if there was anything out there, and I couldn't find nothing. I thought this may be an idea.
Yeah.
So I talked to my wife about it, and she brainstormed and with me, and so we took my prototype, and it's in this office somewhere. I took a lint roller, and I tore off 2 sections of that lint roller, and then I took some spray adhesive, and I sprayed the backside of that lint roller, and I just stuck a paper towel to it.
Sure.
And then I stuck the lint roller to my pants, and that was my prototype.
Amazing.
And which it's come a lot of iterations, a long ways since then. So right here's the I guess you could say the final
sample iteration
that we come back with, and it's just got a little peel you peel and stick on your pants. It's got a little protective liner here to keep from, the whole goal of this was to keep from transferring contaminants, and I don't know, that's just the best word I could come up with. I don't know if that's a good word, but anything, paint, caulk, thin set. I've used it on my granddaughter. She was eating pancakes, and she'd dip her pancake in the syrup, and it would just all run down. And so I just stuck one on her shirt to catch the pancake syrup. It keeps anything from leaking through to your clothing.
I love it. And obviously you designed it to stick on the thigh. It's about 6 inches by 9 inches. I think that's just a perfect size. It covers just enough of your thigh to where it's not going to hit the knee and have creasing issues. But it's also not small by any means.
That's right.
It hits you have that instinct to hit that thigh with that thumb and give it that hard squeegee effect, and you nailed it, man.
Right.
Well, for those of you listening, essentially what I was looking at there, you could almost compare it to like a big maxi pad, obviously with a much more masculine feel. Maybe that's a good name for you, the man pon, huh? No.
That's right.
I like swipe and wipe. Don't listen to me. Well, look, that's incredible. So you got down and dirty. You made the prototype yourself. I love that your first instinct wasn't, oh, let me find somebody to do all this work for me and all this engineering and figure it out. I would guess that you've done a lot of research on different type of paper materials, adhesives, what's going to bleed through, what is not. So tell me about that journey in researching and engineering how this is going to work.
Right. One of my main goals, I guess in a list, I wanted something to prevent those contaminants from coming through on your clothing and ruining your clothing.
Sure.
But then I also wanted them to be tear resistance, and when I would test the prototypes, I would just stick them on in the morning. I'd wear them all day, and I wanted them to be able to withstand a day's worth of work and wiping, and so this is actually the same material pretty much as a baby wipe.
Yeah.
And I know you have a young one. I don't know if you have still one that you have to use baby wipes.
I do.
I don't know if you've ever tried to take a baby wipe and just tear that thing apart. They are hard to tear. They are very tough in that sense, because I guess they don't want people wiping and all of a sudden they tear and then you've got a mess on your hands.
You don't want a breakthrough, buddy.
So anyway, this is a non-woven material, and I wanted it to be tough. And then the next goal, I guess, that we had to cross was to get the adhesive just right, because it had to be strong enough that when you stuck it to your pants and sweat or cold freezing weather, that it would stay there. But then some of the first prototypes we come back with, after you wear them all day and you peel them off, there's a little residue left on your pants. So you didn't want that, which this would, come right off with a wash. But still, I wanted it to, it was a fine line there that it had to adhere to the clothing, yet not leaving any kind of glue residue when you peeled them off. So, man, we went we went through, I don't know how many different types of uh, glues and things there to use to get that nailed down to a happy medium, I guess you could say. And I have thought about, listening to y'all's podcast, you say, I have this in mind for the construction side or the trades side, but there are so many different uses, that we have talked about. Once I got this kind of nailed down and out and going, we was going to look into maybe an automobile side of that. So many people eat in their car today. Something with a less adhesive, enough that it'll stick there, but it's not as strong as what these are.
Yeah.
When you're driving down the road and you can wipe your hand, your napkin will stay there.
Yeah.
When you stick it to yourself, and maybe not as big, but that's the whole process of that. And I think we have, something nailed down. I've been the only one testing these, but I've put them through some pretty stringent testing to see how they work. So,
well, when you know, and that's a big thing. A lot of people who are data driven, they're going to say, "Oh, you need to send it to 100 people. You need to do surveys. You need to get hard data. Will people use this or not? What is the rate?" And it's all hogwash. It's all indicative. I don't know if that's the right term, but essentially, going back to what I said, when you know, and a guy like you, I can tell by talking to you, you're a lot like myself. You know what the people need, and they've never heard of it. So for you to go and introduce this off-the-cuff idea, the responses you're going to get, they're going to be wishy-washy. You're going to have people that are overly nice, people that are overly mean. But, man, just follow your gut, and that's what you're doing, and I think you're spot on. I have no concerns about this. I mean, the opposite. I have joy and excitement for this product. So I want everybody to understand that, hey, market research can take you a little bit of the way, but it could really lead you down a dangerous path of self-doubt and discouragement.
Yeah, some of the guys just local here that's in the same line of work that I'm in. I do remodeling. That's my line of work, and I've done a little bit of everything. I've taught school. I've sold cars. I mean, I've done it all. But anyway, I guess my love's always been farming, but it's too hard to make a living farming, and so building and construction's always been in our sights, I guess. So I'm just doing the remodeling thing now, and I've gave it out to some in that, and and the first thing is like, well, what is this? And then when I show them, the advantages of it, they're like, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
When can I buy some? And I'm like, well, hey, I wished it was sooner than later. But anyway.
Well, I want to go back to something you said, and it was finding the fine line between too sticky and not sticky enough, residue versus not even adhering. So can I assume you're not an engineer or a chemist?
Yes, you can assume that. Yeah.
So how does one go about dialing in the exact right formula? Right. I mean, I'm guessing you were just very Google happy. Tell me about learning about things you had never thought about before.
Well, yeah, I had researched, some of because the lint roller, I don't know for sure. I haven't looked at all the data for sure on lint rollers and what they use on that. And then I also, and you mentioned it a while ago, looked into the feminine products because this is very similar to what is used in feminine products. And the adhesives is probably a little stronger, but I mean, I can't say that I looked it up on Google and I found this formula and I said, hey, here it is. It was trial and error.
Of course.
They would send one in. I would wear it for a day. It would fall off. I would send them a video. I said, hey, look, this thing will not stay on. They dialed it up. I put it on. I had to wait for it to get here. I had to put it on, wear it, and of course, I've tried cotton, I've tried denim, I've tried half and half polyester, all the different type of, there's work pants galore now. So I wanted to try to, hit a big spectrum there of the ones that it would maybe be used with. So it was just basically trial and error. I wished I could say, hey, this is the formula they used, but to be honest, I have no idea what they used. It worked.
So it worked. Who the hell cares? I say it all the time. What's in the chicken? Who cares? It tastes good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, listen, that's amazing. Thank you for getting us all up to speed on kind of how the product came to be. Now, we've got a couple problems to solve. You reached out to me via email, text, right? We've got some issues to solve, and we've got about a total of an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more if we need it. And you know what, Shawn, by the end of this show, I really want to have you confident that you have a pathway to making 6 figures, 7 figures with this product. So I'm going to ask a lot of pointed questions. I'm going to move things along, but that's because I really care about this. I have a lot of faith in it, and I don't want to do you and the listeners a disservice and go off the reservation, right?
Sure.
So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, you came to me because, frankly, and you can be as blunt as you want, Shawn, and if you don't want to say the things that you want to say, I'll say them for you, but you're a bit frustrated with the progress of your current global sourcing agent, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Spot on.
So when you have an invention idea, for anybody new tuning in, you have a couple options. I would say 2.5. Option 1 is just get on Alibaba, find people making a similar thing and start communicating with them. It sucks. It's painful. I'm in Florida now, so when they wake up in the morning, it's 9 o'clock at night. I'm putting the kids to bed. My wife wants to watch 90 Day Fiance. It sucks chatting with these guys. When I was in LA, it was a little bit better because I could do that around 5 or 6 in the evening. The other option you have is to find a global sourcing agent. And I have yet to find a good one or one I would recommend. In the past, Marcus and I have mentioned City Global and using them, but we've really come to find out that inventors aren't their forte. And frankly, guys, you all need to hear this. Inventors suck. I said it on the last episode. We suck because we're trying to order 100 units at a time, 1,000 units at a time. I don't care if it's 3,000 units. It's a thorn in their side because when you try to think about the commission that they're taking, let's say Shawn comes to City Global and they say, and he says, I want this product. I want 30 pouches or 30 wipes in my pouch, and that'll be a unit, a 30 pack, and I want it for $5. They're going to go source it for $2.25. Yeah. And unbeknownst to you, they're going to take a cut of $2.75 or maybe, let's say 50%. But still, off of 1,000 units, 3,000 units, even 25,000 units, it's hardly enough to cover the nut of the 3 or 4 people at their office who have been helping you through the process. And you could try to break down the hours and say, oh man, they're breaking it off in my butt, or in my opinion, they're not making enough. Because I run a business, I know what it takes to really sustain employees, health insurance. So long story short, these global sourcing agents, you're really at the bottom of their list. Where they thrive is when they're dealing with commercial entities, chain restaurants, all right? Chili's has a new idea for a menu. They want to get it sourced, and they're going to ship 500 menus to 1,100 stores, right? Whatever the case may be. Then they're dealing with some volume. Then they're making some money. Those are the people at the top of the list. The third option, again, you're back to Alibaba. You might find a trading company. And I mentioned it in the last episode. A trading company can literally be a guy like me right now behind a desk, just letting his fingers do the work. He lives in China. He or she runs around to different factories. They've built relationships. They probably have a background in sales in a factory. So then they thought, I'm going to start my own trading company. And what those people will do, they'll find the nuts and bolts at the true cost. I mentioned it last episode. You imagine a box fan. They sell them for $25 at the store, so it can't cost more than $5 or $6 to produce. But if I was to find it on Alibaba, they would charge me $13 or $14. I want to know how I get it for $5, like Walmart is. These guys figure it out. And you're not going to get Walmart pricing, don't get me wrong, but these guys will they'll tell you the truth. Like, hey, I found the factory that literally makes that motor. I watched them string the copper wire. It's ugly, it's nasty. You don't want to go there, so I'm going to take care of it for you. They don't even speak English, and I'm going to get you that motor for 79 cents, so on and so forth. Now, I think that the allure, Shawn, that probably grabbed a hold of you was you maybe thought, if I go with a global sourcing agent like City Global, it'll be easier. Is that fair?
Sure. That's fair.
Have you found it to be easier now that we're at 6 months in of product development?
I thought it was, but it seems to have changed now. And let me back up just a little, and you can stop me but this may help somebody out there with how I started this process with Alibaba, and like I say, you stop me if I go out of kilter here. I had sent in I had tried to contact City Global, heard nothing. They have a little questionnaire that you fill out, you send in via email, and so I sent that. And in the meantime, I am cold calling, I guess you would say. I'm on Alibaba, just sending out request after request after request. And maybe I went about this process wrong. Maybe I misunderstood it all. But I went to items that were similar to mine. And then I contacted those manufacturers, and then which they've just got, a person you email or send a message, through Alibaba, and they get back to you. And like you say, I'm at midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm on the computer talking to these people, and just about, and I don't know, I'm going to say 24, I don't know how many I've talked to. Every one of them was trying to get me to buy something already produced. And I'm like, it's not out there. I mean, I was about ready to pull my hair out, and I don't have any hair. And I was like, I can't find it. If I could find this item, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And they was just trying to sell me something similar. And I'm like, listen, I want somebody to manufacture this. That's what I'm looking for. So I finally found one that would agree to it, and I don't want to say my experience with City Global has been all bad, because in that I have learned leaps and bounds ahead of in all of this process. So I don't want to say it's been a total waste of time. It's been disappointing in the last few days, and I haven't burnt the bridge as bad as I wanted to. I have learned, I've made a lot of mistakes in my 55 years, and I have learned it's, sometimes, as my mama said, if you ain't got nothing good to say, just don't say nothing. So I've kind of helped my tongue, with them. But the problem I had run into with a guy on Alibaba was the minimum order quantity. I was trying to find someone to do about 10,000 units, which is 10,000 packs of 30 sheets. And the lowest MOQ they would do was 66,000 packs, which I'm talking about, they was cheap. So, I never had any prototype sent. They sent me a packaging description and pictures, which looked horrible. I wouldn't go with that. So I know they was going to be more than the 67 cents per pack. But the problem I run into with Alibaba, and someone else may have run into this, or someone getting started may run into this, is if you have a new invention and them trying to sell you on something similar to what's out there, and it's nowhere even close to what. And I mean, I got a lot of, no, we can't help you, and along the way. And then in the meantime, with that, City Global gets back in touch with me, and I mean, I've got a prototype within, I don't know, a month, I guess,
That's
with
good.
them.
That's really good. Well, shout out to them because that really gave you a springboard and put you into action.
Absolutely.
Okay. I like to hear that. Now, so City Global started off strong, and I empathize because, with your product, and I've dealt with that too. The manufacturers, they try to push, they do it to me all the time. Sir, why don't you just sell ratchet straps? We ship, we send a shipping container a day to distributors in the U.S. of ratchet straps. People love them. I say, good for people, good for those distributors. I'm not trying to sell the same strap for $1.95. I'm trying to do something different here. So that is a never-ending battle, and a lot of that is about how you approach that manufacturer in the beginning. And to give an example, be very blunt. Don't act like you're window shopping, poking around. Give them a spec sheet and say, this is what I'm having made. Very matter of fact. This is what people are ready to buy. This is what I have funding for. This is what my investors want. Can you make it or not? And then move on to the next one.
Yeah. And I thought when I started, I look at this and I thought, hey, any jackleg in China can make this. They'll be fighting over, crawling over each other to make this, It's a non-woven fabric with glue and a protective film on it and a paper back. And I thought, who can't make that?
Right.
Hey, I learned pretty quick. Not everybody in China can make that or wants to make it. And I understand. Hey, I'm a small fish in a big pond, and I get that.
Yeah.
And but I'm determined
and it's so simple. They just want to hand you off to what they already have. Right.
Right.
I was saying it in the last show. I just make a strap with a damn spring in it. Why does this have to be so complicated? I could have a car manufactured and be asked less stupid questions because they're ready to build a car. But because they just make their maxi pads. They just make child sanitary wipes. They don't want to go off that reservation. So that is the trouble, but you push through it and good for you. And there's always a manufacturer that will do it. There's always 3 or 4. Yeah. You do have to kiss some frogs before you find it. And that's what you're working on. All right. So City Global started off strong with you with that prototype. Let's skip over all the drama and let's fast forward to, the last couple of weeks when you got some news you weren't too excited about.
Yeah, they asked me my budget and I gave them and I don't know how transparent you want me to be or I need to be, but
it's totally up to you. I mean, the more transparent you are with me, the more value I can give, but anything you want to withhold, it's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I don't, I'm not trying to hide nothing from nobody. I told them in the beginning when I said I want it shipped to my house, I want it in my garage for $3 or under.
Okay.
Per pack. That's a pack of 30. That was my budget to go with. I was looking at a $24.99 sale. What I was going to retail that for. That was just kind of the rough numbers I had in mind. And so anyway, they come back with when they sent out the first iteration there, and they come out at 2, and all these prices I'm giving you is for 10,000 units. Started out, the lowest MOQ was 30,000 units, going up to, I think they priced 80,000 units. And I said, in the beginning, I'd like to start with just 10,000 units. If that's, let me get this out of the way. If that's, oh gosh, I lost you.
That's okay. I still see you. I'll make a note and we'll edit this out. So we're
all right. There we go.
Okay.
I had a big drop down right in front of my face there.
Gotcha.
So, they come in at, after the 10,000 units at 275, some odd change. And, so, I said, that's good. I'm good with that. Let's proceed. And at this time we're going through the packaging, putting the artwork on the package, fixing it how we want it. And then the last 3 weeks, everything, the conversations started changing. And, I thought, what, something's something's not jiving like it was in the beginning. They kept asking me, what's my minimum order quantity? I'm like, dude, I have told you my minimum order quantity for 6 months now, what I was looking for, and just questions that we'd already had all these discussions with. And I'm like, I told my wife, I said, something don't smell right. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, there's a good possibility it's a duck.
Right.
So anyway, day before yesterday, he sends me an email and says we got everything finalized. We have the final pricing, and just on one note there, when they gave me that initial pricing, we did change. We went to a heavier nonwoven material, and we increased the protective liner, made it a little more substantial. So we changed a little from that $275 price point. So I expected, but also at that time we had a 6x11 size sheet. So I took 2 inches off the sheet. So I knew it probably wasn't going to be, right on 275. I was expecting some change. So anyway, he kept on talking about getting a final price and getting a final quote. And I'm like, man, this is, I'm getting leery about this, So the email finally come. Said, well, we've got our new pricing, and prices reflect the changes we've made for yada, yada, yada. So now my price for 10,000 units went from $275 to $6.06 per unit. I mean, I like to have fell out in the garage when I read that.
Yeah, of course.
Email on my phone. And to say I like to, blew my top, that was an understatement. And I guess like I said, and they might make it right. And I'll read you this last email if you want, of them telling me the reasons why the price increased.
You don't have to tell me why. I can tell you why. Oh, this, that, and the other, and unforeseen issues, and plus with this new adhesive and this process, new mold, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's 100 reasons why.
Oh, yeah.
Let me fast forward and ask you this.
Okay.
Based on the work that they've done for you for free, right? I mean, essentially at this point.
Yeah.
Would you harbor any guilt if you just took everything that you know and have from them and just wiped your hands of the situation?
Absolutely not.
Good for you. I don't think you should. I think that I dealt with them too, and I dealt with all the same stuff. The samples I got were no good. I wanted to make changes. Then it was the nickel and dime game. Marcus has dealt with it as well. Marcus has taken so much time and diligence to keep his price fair by just anytime they increase it by 5 cents, he's doing the multiplication, and he's telling them how much more a year that's going to cost, as if they don't already know. They know damn well what they're doing.
Exactly.
I don't have the patience for that. I don't have the temperament for that.
I just don't want to do business like that.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're looking for something long term, and if we're starting with a baseline of doubling the price,
absolutely. I mean, what's next?
Well, here's what I'll say. You've gotten a long way with them. I do think the price $6, it's not workable, right? You want to sell it for $24.95. You have no room to lower that price for a sale, or if things aren't moving right, you can't drop it to $19.95. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can still make a margin, and you could start this business if you get the product for $6 or $7, because you're basically doubling your money. And even if you offer free shipping, you're going to be doubling your money. That's a strong baseline. So if you're so inclined, maybe feel free to do the first order with them and then move along. The big benefit about doing the first order is you have some certainty, and you get to start, right? There's so many other things you can be working on. When you have those 10,000 units in your garage, you're going to immediately realize, oh, the website's not I need to build a website. The website's not converting very well. You have the opportunity to take a lot more product photos. You have the opportunity to send out lots and lots of samples in exchange for a photo. Things like that are invaluable, worth much more than waiting another 6 months dealing with the manufacturer. So I wouldn't stray away of continuing on. You've basically kind of made a bed you need to lay in right now. But don't look at it, don't take it personally. Just focus. This is business strictly. Sure. Focus on turning that product over and get better pricing on the next round.
Sure. Yeah. I've been in some cutthroat businesses before, so this is no surprise to me with how business works. And, and then they come back yesterday with an email with all these reasons, and they said, we are doing our due diligence to, get you this product for $3. And, and I told them, I said, listen, I'm not into no bidding wars, bidding campaigns. I don't do business that way. I told you what I wanted it for, and that's what I'm going to stick to my guns. And, if you can't do that, I'll look elsewhere.
Good for you. And, well, another reason I think you should go through with it and just eat it, swallow the pride, is now you have a lot more leverage when you speak to manufacturers and trading companies directly, because they're going to ask you a lot of questions that you don't know the answers to, you haven't dealt with, like shipping and things like that. And you'll just be able to talk the talk and walk the walk when you're really looking at that pallet of 10,000 units or those 3 pallets for a sum of 10,000 units. You know how many go on a pallet. You know how many to put in a master carton. All these things that they kind of figured out for you. You can say it very matter of fact to this new manufacturer, and that lets them know that you're serious. When you just come to a manufacturer, can you make this? Would you ship it? How much is it going to cost to ship it? And then they start asking you questions. Well, how many units do you want in a carton? And you just say, I don't know, however many fit. Then they start to realize, I'm going to be hand holding for a while. But by getting this knocked out with City Global, you'll be a few steps ahead in all that and be able to push your weight around and get yourself a better price.
Right. So let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. You're recommending to eat it and just go on and order 10,000 units at that price.
I think you can easily get that down to 5, which is still eating it, but I think you can get it down to 5. And then, I would probably go through with it. If you're confident, just to get it going. Look, the first straps I got, they cost me probably $12, $13 for a 2-pack, and I was turning around and selling it for $24.95. After shipping, I was making $3 a strap. You know what I mean? That's just kind of where we start. Now, you're going to start a lot better. You have a product, I imagine, that's less than £1. You're going to be able to ship this sucker for $3.99, $4.99 via USPS. So let's look at your margin. If you were to get it for $5 and sell it for $24.95, let's say then your gross sale price is about $18. You're more than tripling your money, dude. So you're starting off way, way, way better than I am, and way, way, way better than most people are. Think about people in the wine industry, people who make a custom salsa, mom and pop type of thing. They're shipping so much weight, and oftentimes those products are very price based if you're on the store shelves and things like that. So you're shipping a 3-pound bottle of wine. The logistics of it are just terrible. You've chosen a perfect product, and you have plenty of margin for that reason.
Right. And that's something else I have a ton of questions on, and I don't know if now's the time, but the shipping cost of this, I've researched that, and of all the things that I've got from City Global, I've got box sizes, I've got package sizes, I've got everything other than knowing what these things weigh. A pack of 30, which, like you say, they're going to fall in under £1. I'm almost positive. Like if I know the Postal Service has a box that if you can fit it in there, it costs so much. And I had thought about running some deals for buy 3, find out how many can fit in one of those boxes.
Right.
For my shipping costs, and that's something that I had no clue. Like what it would cost me to ship one of these out. I just, if they're under a pound, can I figure $5?
Almost, yeah. We have our Torque bag, right? It's just a canvas bag, and it comes in at like 16 ounces, but we just call it a pound. You should really round up and say it's like a pound and an ounce, but we call it a pound, and I can get away with shipping that pretty much anywhere, or to 75% of this country. I can ship it for, I think, $5.50. It could be $5.99. Regardless, it still puts you in that margin range to triple your money, right? You have quite an allotment to offer free shipping.
That's what I had planned on at that price point. I was going to offer free shipping.
Yeah. Even if you had to do a flash sale and drop your price to $19.95, which I don't recommend right off the bat, but I'm in the slow time right now. I'm thinking about maybe doing a sale, right? We always have to have that contingency plan.
Right.
Even if you sold it for $19.90, just one unit, mind you, when you have a good website, you're going to get people to buy 4 and 5 units. You're not going to care about it. These are peanuts. But when it's just that one pain in the butt customer who I'm just going to buy one, and if it doesn't satisfy me, I'm never buying it again. When it's shipping to that guy or gal, you sell it to them at $19.95, subtract, let's say worst case scenario, $7 for that order. That brings you down to $13 is your gross sale take. Your cost was $5. You're doubling your money. You're more than doubling your money. You're looking at about a 60% margin right there. I currently sit at a 61% margin, and I've been hammering pricing and hammering shipping and trying to increase my average order values. And I don't ever let somebody go to my website and just buy one product because of shipping. So when you go to my website, you've seen it 100 times, but maybe you never thought about it. When you go to my website, you put a 2-pack of the Reds in your cart because it's the cheapest thing I got. It's $39.95, and you think, cool, I'm scot-free. You get to checkout, and then you realize, and we've told you, but you didn't see it till now, we charge $6 in shipping, flat rate to the U.S. for orders under $60. So all you have to do is get another pack, and you get free shipping. So now my average order value went from $39 straight up to about $77. So you'll find ways to upsell at, hey, you're almost there. You're just $20 away from free shipping and things of that nature. So if you want, you could charge shipping on your single packs. You could sell them at $19.95, but charge shipping. Sure. And then for orders over $35, offer free shipping. That way you're guaranteed they're going to buy 2 units.
Yeah.
Damn near guaranteed.
Exactly. And I guess when I look at the $2.75 and the $6, it, in the whole scheme of things, but what really got my attention was, okay, now I'm going from spending $27,000 to $60,000. Yeah. Now that leaves a mark. So
that's what scares me about it. And that's the reality of it. We didn't talk about it. Everybody's situation is different, but no matter what the situation, no one wants to spend money they don't have to spend.
Right.
And that is a hard pill to swallow. Now, here's the alternative. I think you could take the samples that you have. Do you even have a packaging sample yet?
No. That's what I'm waiting on now.
So you don't have a lot to work with. So
no, I don't.
You could keep them on the stringer and keep them working for you for free for a bit. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's strictly business.
Now, I sent them $950. That's the only money I've sent them.
Okay.
That was supposed to cover this final packaging. It was going to be exactly like it looked. It was going to be 30 sheets in the package, just like it would be sent out.
Okay. Well,
I haven't got that yet, but it's supposed to be here the first week in September.
All right. Well, I don't have many thoughts about that. It's kind of a drop in the bucket compared to what you're going to be doing. Could it have been done cheaper? Maybe. I don't know.
Which that month, that $950 was going to come off my price.
Sure.
Once
Okay.
the order was.
So it's almost like a good faith deposit type of thing.
Right.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that at all. So if you were to just say cut ties with them and say screw you, and you accidentally burn that bridge, which I know you're not going to do, but let's say you did that. Starting now, you're probably looking at 3 or 4 months before you're really satisfied with
absolutely.
another manufacturer.
No doubt.
And then 3 or 4 months, maybe like, okay, I can start making money in 3 or 4 months. That's no big rush. But again, now you get that pallet landed in your garage you'd be looking at Christmas time. You're doing stuff with the family.
Last of November is when they're shooting. So and that was my goal, was to have it ready for Christmas.
Yeah.
And you know, and the longer it kept going, I thought, man, I'm really getting close here to not having it ready.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's what I was emailing them. And I was like, you know, we got to get this thing going. And that's when stuff started. Like, I was like, something's going on here. You know, something's fishy.
Well, let me just ask you this question really straightforward.
Come on.
If I told you, hey, yeah, it's not going to work with City Global, but June of 2025, you can count on having product in your garage at $3 a unit. Is it worth it to you to wait till June, or would you rather shoot for this Christmas?
Oh man, that's a good question. Now I'm not in no big rush. This is my fear. And which, you know, it can be alleviated, but and there's so many questions. I don't even know if anybody will buy this thing, you know. So that's
they will, and we're going to talk about that before we.
That's
leave
one
today.
of my questions. But if I get 10,000, if I go ahead with City Global, get this first order here, get it in the eyes of people and out, you know, out before Christmas, and my thought was, when I got to the point that I have sold enough that has paid for that shipment, which now that changes a whole lot, then I would reorder at that point. So I guess my fear is, if I may still have the original 10,000 in a year from now. I have no idea. So that would be my only concern with the June date, is if they're selling, I don't want to be without. Does that make sense?
Of course, running out of inventory sucks.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to prevent if they do sell.
Well, then do this: play dueling fiddles between these two guys, unbeknownst to them. I say these two guys, between City Global, and then independently find yourself a new manufacturer. Go with a trading company. They'll do more legwork. Okay, and I don't know how. I mean, 50% of the time you're going to run into a trading company on Alibaba anyway, because they advertise it as if they're making it right there in their shop and they're looking at it. In reality, they're on the other side of town working in an office.
Well, absolutely,
and that's fine.
That's one thing that drawed me to City Global, and this is what they told me. Now, whether they hold to that or not, I don't know. But they handled all the quality control of that product, and if a bad shipment come in, they're eating that. They're going to take care of it, they say. Now,
yeah,
what do they do? I don't know.
Well, Marcus has had bad shipments, and do they eat it? Yes. But they're bad shipments nonetheless. They slow down your business.
Sure.
Do they eat it fully? No, because you kind of have to find the solution. Okay, how am I going to fix these for cheap, or what can I salvage? What is it? The packaging that's screwed up? Do I just need to take 10,000 units out of the package and then wait for them to send me a new package?
Right.
I wouldn't really count on that as assurance. I would count on actually getting good product as assurance.
Yeah.
And it's tough when you're ordering as much as you are. Maybe do lean into that. I mean, like I'm alluding to, maybe stick with City Global for those small benefits. I mean, the hard part's the waiting, and you've done that.
Yeah.
It's not the price. It's not the quality. It's not the guarantees. The hard part is the waiting when you're dealing with someone like City Global, and you've done that. So take advantage of that. You've put in the work, the blood, sweat, and tears. They've tested your patience. You're through it. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does.
All right. Well, listen, you reached out to me when I spoke about my guy in China and his trading company. So that's when I knew that it was definitely front of mind for you to find somebody new. Again, I think this is a side project, a back burner guy. Don't plan on having them ready with one in the pipe till, January, February to start on your next order. And that once you see, because you will start selling in Christmas. I'm going to tell you how later. And you say, all right, damn, I've already recouped 40 grand. I've already recouped 50 grand. I'm going to put that towards the next order and then have that guy ready to do that for you. I think when you're dealing with the trading company guy, they will find you smaller MOQs so you can kind of test them.
Right.
It's a battle. You're going to find a trading company who can maybe find somebody who'll make you just 500 units or 1,000 units so you can see if they make good quality and take advantage of that. Then you'll feel confident in them. Then you'll up the quantity. And maybe while you're doing those little orders with them, you go ahead and put in another with City Global because they make 100% or 95% quality. And you can keep turning your cash and you have a good flow and a good business going. And with your margins, you can really start paying yourself pretty quick once you get the flow of it. So I feel good about where you're at, Shawn. I really do. I know it's confusing. I know anytime somebody raises a price on you, you feel like a phony, like, I'm getting screwed because I'm a small fish. You ain't no different than any of us, buddy. We're all dealing with it every day.
Yeah. Yeah, it was frustrating nonetheless. Of course, I've got that number in my mind, or I got a $3 number in my mind, all along. And then all of a sudden I just get like double, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
So if you get it down to $5, you're looking like a $50,000 order, right?
Right.
Okay. Are you comfortable paying that? Or are you going to have to?
I mean, I've got access to the money.
Sure.
So, is it just laying around in my drawers? No, but I can get the money. I mean, that's not an issue that's on the back burner of it,
Yeah.
Of course, when I get it, I the paying it back part, that's the part that, that you worry about. Everybody worries about.
Yeah, of course. And then you haven't really invested probably a whole lot more besides just trips to the grocery store to test a tampon and the 950 for that packaging sample.
I went ahead and filed my utility patent.
Oh, good for you.
And trademark. And so the biggest expense I've had in the whole thing is filing my patent and the trademark. I mean, really, that's the only cost I've had is, like you say, just some trips here. I did send them the $950, but I mean, that's chicken feed in the whole scheme of things that we're talking about here. And so I filed my patent in January of last year. So we're still a ways out yet to seeing if that's going to go through or not. And, I had talked to some patent attorneys in Nashville. I'm about 50 miles northeast of Nashville. And so I had talked to some patent attorneys there, and one in particular that was real super helpful. And, he just told me, he said, I don't care if you go with me or you don't go with me. Because I was talking about filing a provisional just for cost wise. And he said, I wouldn't file a provisional because if you done that yourself, and later down the road, something was left out, because you filled that, because that's what they're going to take. They're going to take that provisional, to file your patent. And there's a good possibility you're going to leave something out of there that needs to be in there.
Yeah.
So that's what I done. I didn't go with him. Funny enough, he was like $15,000 for a patent. But he was super helpful with me, and I guess giving me advice on that, and I believed him. So anyway, that's what I done. I went ahead and filed my utility patent for it. And so that's my biggest cost. That cost me $7,500.
Okay.
To file my patent, and I forgot what the trademark was, $1,500 or something.
Yeah, it's usually about right. No,
I've filed an LLC and set up Shopify store, and and just little things like that.
Good for you. Now you're so let's talk about selling this thing. Tell me what your plan is and what you're nervous about.
Okay, so this was my plan. I was going to maybe try to document, record, put out on social media this journey.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe all leading up to a date for a Kickstarter campaign to just maybe try to get eyes on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe put on there for like a $5,000 or $7,500 campaign, just to maybe try to get it to go through. Nothing crazy. I mean,
Sure.
yeah, I would love to put up the whole cost of that, for a shipment, but I know reality too. So that was my goal, was to put it on Kickstarter, Facebook, or on all the social media platforms, pushing them to the Kickstarter campaign and just showing people, what they do and the function of them. But like you said earlier, I don't even have a freaking package now to even show them what the package looks like.
Yes.
Nor do I have many samples left to be making a lot of videos with them. I mean, I'm literally looking here. I've got like maybe 10 sheets left right now that, it limiting me to what I can use and make videos with. And I can't use the same one over and over again and wash the thing.
No, you can't. You can't.
So I was going to, do that Kickstarter campaign all on social media. I was going to get the City Global was going to source me some cardboard end caps, I guess you would say, where you could put like 40 of these packs on, just to go around some of my local hardware and the mom and pop things, to see if I could get them to put them in there that wouldn't take up a lot of floor space in their stores, and so on like that. And kind of like y'all gave the advice, just flood the social media with videos, stupid videos. I mean, I like to cut up a lot, so that's not hard for me to, put up a stupid video. And
got so much subject matter. I mean, the dirty pants behind you say it all. The before and afters, the look at the guy doing this versus the guy doing that. You could do the same 3 different concepts over and over again. Don't underestimate people's desire to see the same jokes over and over again.
Right.
And you'll find new funny ways to display it with those videos. So I like it. I don't really push for retail, but for your product, because it's so light and because you're so personable and honest, I think you would do well taking these little end caps, quarter pallets, whatever you want to call it, and just saying, hey, I got it here. It's ready to go. Let's do this thing.
Right.
You buy this case for me for I don't even know, let's say 40 times. You buy this case for me for $350. Once you sell through these, this is a $900 case. You guys are more than doubling your money. I think it's an easy pitch.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Now, why did you say you don't even know if this thing will sell? just doubting Thomas, I guess you would say. Just the reality of thinking, man, I've come this far, and now it's ready. Now I'm fixing to spend a chunk of money, and will anybody buy it? Yeah.
And me, I'm a quality, like my dad. He used to, which my dad's dead now, but he used to. We'd be working, and I could never please him. And I mean, I always tell people, Jesus Christ couldn't please my dad. Building and everything just had to be so. And so I told my wife, I said, if we ever have kids, when we first got married, I said, if we ever have kids, I will never be as tough as my dad was, on anything you're trying to do or fix or anything, So it's funny now, and working, tiling bathrooms and things that's pretty meticulous, Well, I work by myself. I don't hire anybody. And the reason I don't hire anybody is because I'm so much worse than my father was.
Oh.
I can't let them do it because I'm spending all my time right behind them, watching them And so quality for me is I want to build a brand that when people put these on, they like, hey, this guy gives a crap about what their product is like.
Sure.
And so I guess with that in mind, I'm always thinking, well, what if somebody buys one of these and it leaves a little place when they peel it off their pants, and then all of a sudden they're pissed. And I'm like, and I just worry myself silly over things like that, I guess. I don't know.
Well, you've heard me talk at length about me having those same feelings in the past, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I told the story of my wife with her Amazon returns or her Target returns, whatever it was. I was sitting there, I was just down, and she could see it in my eyes. What's going on, honey? What's going through your mind? I said, I'm about to launch sales, the December 1st, 2020. I'm about to launch, and I just got this burning fear that the first person that gets it's going to return it, and I'll be crushed, and I'll go cry like a 14-year-old girl in my room. And she points to the corner of the kitchen. There's about 4 or 5 Amazon boxes hot and ready to return. She's like, do you think Amazon gives a shit? No. So shut up. Sell good products. Some are going to be bad. Take the punches and roll with it. And let me tell you this, Shawn, based on just the way you are and your commitment to quality, you have a ton of headroom for quality issues. And what I mean by that is people are out there Googling what business should I start in 2024? And it could literally be like a fitness review website. And they're just starting it to make money. There's competitors of mine who have openly said, when we started our cargo strap company, it's because back in 2015, we took a course on how to make money in Amazon. And this guru told me to find a niche that no one else is working on. So they chose ratchet straps and they exploited it, right? You're starting because you had a true problem, true experience, and you have a heavy hand in the process of all of this building. So your products are going to be top notch. And if 5% of them have adhesive issues, who cares? If 7% of them have some weird perforation because somebody took a utility knife through the case and they split in two, who cares? People go to Walmart still, buy a brand new HP desktop computer for $1,100, and it crashes 6 months later.
Yeah, exactly.
We live in a world where people are ready and willing to pay for things that might fail. And half of them aren't even going to tell you. They're not even going to complain. Yeah, 3 or 4%, they're going to leave a bad review. Bad reviews are good too. That's how you know a product is real, that reviews are real. People seek out bad reviews. So don't sweat any of these small things. That's as far as quality goes. Now, as far as how you're going to sell it, we talked about the retail stores, the end caps, the quarter pallets, you pushing on social media. You're basically just going to do all the things we've always preached about in this show. Try to post a couple times a week, maybe every day, maybe just once a week, whatever you're comfortable with. Eventually, you're going to find videos that really resonated with people. You're going to find a video that hit, 15,000 views, and you've never had that happen before in your life. And a lot of comments, a lot of people, where can I buy? Where can I buy? Where can I buy? You're going to get some sales from that. You're going to get some cash flow. And then you can go to like my guy Sergio, who runs professional meta ads, and you can say, because the worst thing you can do is start running meta ads before you know how to sell, before you know what videos work. But you have 3 months of experience posting videos. Then you go to my guy or any meta ads manager, and you say, these are the top 5 performing videos. Can you work with this? And they're like, oh, hell yeah. So let's do that, and let's keep expanding on it. So he'll tell you the data. After a couple of weeks of running tests, putting some money behind it, you're getting some sales. He'll say, yeah, the video where you ripped it off and flung them in the air. And he said, that really grabbed people's attention. That has a high click-through rate. Just make videos like that. And for a couple of months, you'll really just hammer that concept. And then he'll say, hey, remember that very last video where you accidentally tripped and fell? I don't know why, but that's making you tons of money. And then you expand on that and keep perfecting your craft, just like any comedian or actor would. Instant feedback. It's a really great thing. So there's tons of options for e-commerce, retail, and then there's Amazon too. We haven't even talked about that. How do you feel about Amazon? I mean, I don't care one way or another. I think you can do.
I have all intention of doing the FBA.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
It lends itself well to FBA. You're going to be highly competitive. I think that you'll do really well on Amazon because you can pack it with a lot of keywords and key phrases that other wipes don't get. Because wipes, typically, they have one job, and it's to keep your hands clean. Right. You get to advertise that not only am I going to keep your hands clean, I'm going to keep your pants, your hands clean. I'm also going to keep your pants clean. I'm going to keep your blue jeans clean. I'm going to keep your workwear clean. You see all these keywords I'm throwing out that you can just pack in a listing. So when a guy or gal is searching, keep my workwear clean, like, why would you say it like that? But you get to land on them. Whereas the other guys, they're all just fighting tooth and nail to get that one search term, keep my hands clean at work. You can keep the shirt clean, the polo clean, the pants, the cargo, the workwear, you name it. So you have a lot of opportunity to grab a pretty big audience there. And dude.
And the convenience of it is something, I feared it would be convenient, but not until I started wearing them and trying them. Man, when that thing's always on your leg, it's just, I mean, so convenient to just wipe it right there and go on.
It is, dude. I can tell by looking at it, and I'm going to be one of your first customers. I'm not going to take your samples because I know how that is, dude. When I was in the beginning, if I had a nickel for everybody who said, "Yeah, it's pretty cool. Send me a sample and I'll see what I can do," and you're like, "Oh God, I only have 4 left."
When I was going through all my prototypes, well, the first time they sent three, and I was like, "Listen, dude, you got to send me more than 3. There's no way I can test this, just with 3 wipes." So the next time they sent like 15.
Yeah.
And so on the next email, I said, "Listen, if I need to pay for some of these, fine. Just I need enough that I can truly test these things, on different types of pants and different conditions." And so they finally started, sending more of them. And then I was like giving them to people. "Here, try this. And now I'm like, crap, I ain't even got none to even, make a video with.
I know. So, no, you have to be strict. I still, we order about 8,000 units every couple of months, every month and a half or every 2 months. So we got shipping containers coming in at this point. And still my buddies from back home in Illinois, "Hey, you still haven't sent me any samples?" And I said, "Yep, and I ain't never going to do it neither." You want to buy them? It's called TorkStrap.com, buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
No, don't give anything away for free unless you really love the people.
Yeah, I was going over to my daughter's last night to get this ring light to try to light up the room, and she was like, "Bring one of your samples. We got a buddy over here," and I'm like, "I'll bring it, but you can't keep it."
You ain't no. You can look, but you can't touch.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, let me tell you what's going to happen, Shawn, because I help a lot of people do this, and without fail, this is the conversation that we're going to have in a couple months. You're going to get your product, let's say November 1st. You're going to get it all opened up. You're going to look at it, the cheering, the hooting, the hollering, the pictures, and all that. And then you're going to make your first video, maybe 2, maybe 3. You're going to make your first Facebook post, maybe 2, maybe 3. You're going to open up that TikTok, which maybe you didn't have before, and do that. And you're going to have friends and family buy probably a good 10 to 30 units from you. And it's going to be nice. You're going to see that. You're going to see about $1,500 in a couple of days in that Shopify store and say, "Okay, cool, things are moving." And then you're going to have a day where you have no sales. And you're going to have a day where you can't think of a video idea. And you're going to have a day where you feel like you're losing traction. And your first instinct is going to be to text me and say, "Grant, I had a great first week, but no one bought any the last 3 days. What's going on?" So I want to prepare you for that moment. And I want to let you know that when that moment comes, you're not a phony. You're not an imposter. You weren't wrong. You're just getting started. Keep at it. Keep on pushing.
Don't fix you crying.
No, sir. And I'm gonna go through a checklist when you do reach out, and I'm gonna say, "Are you posting on YouTube Shorts? Are you posting on Facebook as Reels? Are you posting on Instagram as Reels? Are you and you're gonna come back and say, "Oh, well, I posted one on YouTube Shorts and it only got 25 views, so I didn't post again." And I'm gonna say, "Damn it! Get back on YouTube. YouTube is Google. Google is YouTube. How are people going to find you if you're not putting videos on YouTube? And eventually it's going to catch. Yeah. So we'll save that conversation. You can take this moment to push through that. And then when Christmas comes and people are willing to pay for they're desperate to find a gift for dad, and you're getting persistent with your videos, then you're going to sell a good handful, and then you're going to understand the ebbs and flows of business, and you'll push through it. And eventually you'll get to a point where you know damn well that, okay, January through February, I'm still going to do pretty good because people are coming off of the holiday mentality. They're still willing to spend. I'm going to have a lull around tax time until they get those returns. That's fine. And a lull doesn't mean you're going broke. Let's say the first 3 months you're doing $1,000 a day. And then you get into that tax time and you're down to only making $250, $300 a day. And then some spring starts to ramp up. People are going outside. The contractors are really getting a lot of jobs. You're going to have a really good spike. And you're going to be selling them 1, 2, maybe even $3,000 a day throughout the season throughout the spring season / early summer. And then the kids are going to go back to school and you're back down. And then we're back into the holidays and round we go. You're going to feel great at times. You're going to feel like an imposter at other times. Don't look at things on the daily. Look at things on the monthly, the quarterly, the yearly. I had a day the other day, and it may sound like I'm, crocodile tears, but I had a day the other day where I only sold $1,400. Now, my break even a day with 3 employees now, and contractors too, so you could say 5 or 6. My break even daily is about $2,200 to $2,400 in sales. That's just running on a treadmill, buddy. Right. If I want to really grow this business, I need to be making $4, $5, $6,000 a day or doing that much revenue. I've felt like a terrible imposter the last month. I mentioned that in the last show, and then on top of that, moving here, I had to stop my paycheck, be resilient, push through it. And I know this isn't your main source, but at some time you'd like to transfer fully over to Swipe and Wipe, right? Yeah. We all would. And when that day comes, do it with confidence. Tell your wife, sometimes I'm going to turn off the paycheck and sometimes I'm going to keep it on. And sometimes at the end of the year around tax time, the accountant's going to say, congratulations, you just got a $30,000 tax return. And your wife's looking at you like you're a hero. And sometimes open a business checking account and open a business savings account. Do all your, this, you own a company, but for everybody listening, do all your business out of that checking to keep it really simple, and just try to put away $500 a week, $1,000 a month, $2,000 every 2 weeks, whatever that number is that you're comfortable with. You will quickly learn to work with what is in your checking and have what is in that savings to look forward to as your yearly bonus to yourself for all this hard work you've done. Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. Any other burning questions in your mind that I can help you with? Anything at all?
No, I don't. No burning questions. If you may be a good... you may be a good person to start your own. You and Jay start your own
global sourcing. It's funny you mentioned that because I told him about the podcast and all the people we run into, and also Lance, our engineer. Lance is really kind of into the idea. I'm not into it. TorkStrap takes up enough of my time, and that's where I make my income. But I definitely am thinking about how can I help these people who want to get a good product. They want a company who's going to actually talk to them and speak English and do it all at a fair cost with transparency and good communication. And I'm trying to help Jay and Lance, the engineer, connect on that, because Lance is a lot like me. He's a big proponent of the show. He's been following everything. I think he has the wherewithal to carry it out. And the great thing is he's an engineer too. So he'll get into the nitty-gritty of woven versus non-woven and all that. He'll understand that in a short amount of time. I'll keep you posted on that. And Lance, if you're listening, this is even more reason to dive in, buddy.
Yeah. And I'm open to, if Jay wants to get his feet wet, I'll definitely give him, some opportunities on my end if he and if I can get it at a reasonable price, I don't care what he makes. I don't care. If I can get it landed at my place for what I'm comfortable with,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no qualms about what he makes.
Well, good for you. And because of all the reasons I said, like, okay, you got an issue with what he makes, and do yourself a favor. Go to China, spend the 11 grand on the plane ticket, stay in that hotel, have that conversation, try to find a cab, try to find a restaurant, go eat at that crummy McDonald's, have fun. Don't get me wrong, I was in kind of, the industrial part of China when I was there. And you're going to have to be too if you want to find a cheap manufacturer. Go ahead, try all those things, and then tell me if it wasn't worth it just to pay whatever the hell they said. Because at the end of the day, if you can make money, move on. Don't get hung up on what's fair and what's not. Fair is what you deserve, not always what you get. All right, cool, man. Well, look, I'm going to wrap up the show. I'm going to disconnect with you. Before I do, can you give me a quick smile and 2 thumbs up to the camera? And just hold that real, don't move, hold real still. Boom, got it. Okay, cool, man. I'll use that for the thumbnail. Thanks a lot, Shawn.
Hey, and Grant, and listen, man, really and truly from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate y'all. When I was laying tile that morning, and I was like, let me just see if I can find a podcast that or anything that tells me which direction I need to head. And listen, I have been through just about every podcast on Spotify that has the word invent or invention or manufacturing help. Hey, I've listened to them all, and none of them that I've listened to offer what you guys have. So I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.